Who are you?
I'm the peacekeeper, and retribution is my code.
Back to Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today's guest is bodybuilder, powerlifter, and movie maker, Daniel Stisen. Welcome, my friend.
Hi, thank you for having me on your show.
You're very welcome. Now, you're originally from Norway, correct?
Yeah, I'm a born Viking.
You're the real deal. Now, you started in powerlifting, you got into bodybuilding. Tell us what, got you bit by, or how you got bit by the iron bug. How did you get into this whole industry?
So, my dad, he was a bodybuilder back in the 70s and 80s. So, I grew up in the gym, to be honest.
Did he compete?
So, he competed from 72 to 87 from the Norwegian national to world championship.
Wow.
So his last world championship was in 85 or 87.
Did he ever compete?
And then he had, then I grew up watching Arnie. I remember I met Robby Robinson when I was 3 or 4 years old or something in a gym in Oslo. And I didn't know anything else than this is the world I knew, So right. When I grew up, I had 2 big dreams in life. It was like, I want to be a bodybuilder. I want to be big. I want to be strong. This will be, And then I was watching Arnold, and Stallone, and like, oh, I want to be like them, So I always had 2 goals in life. It was my bodybuilding and filmmaking. And then I started with powerlifting because it made most sense when I started lifting weights back. I started doing squats when I was 7, to be honest. I have some videos of it. But I really decided to train, like proper training from age 14, 15. And then I started competing in powerlifting. And I was very strong in squats, very strong. So I've lifted 370 kilos in squats once.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. So how did you get into getting on a bodybuilding stage? What made you decide to want to go up there in a bikini and pose, essentially?
I was ready for doing bodybuilding around age 20. I felt my muscle was ready for it, you know what I mean? And then I competed at Oslo Grand Prix. And I won the junior competition. And then the next year I competed in the Norwegian championship, the national back home. And then I won the junior competition and the senior competition. And then I was just pushing to get bigger, stronger, and no limits in my mind. I thought I could take over the world, like a young teenage.
Yeah.
And then I had one goal in mind. It was getting to the pro level. And I was going in the right direction. And after some years, because I was lifting so heavy, I started getting some injuries already when I was 25. And at age 27, I tore a muscle before a competition because I was doing squats. Heavy squats for a photo shoot for a bodybuilding magazine in Scandinavia. And then I saw, the symmetry wasn't as good as I wanted anymore. So and all the other small injuries I started getting. So I knew I couldn't reach the level I wanted to. So after some time, I decided not to continue competing, but focus on my second goal. That was the filmmaking and acting and stunt and action.
Now, how did you get involved with that? What, you know, in Norway, it's not like you're in LA or, you know, Hollywood where everyone's an actor. How did you decide, hey, I want to get into acting and I want to make my own films? Where did that inspiration come from?
Well, I knew like Norway is not the center of filmmaking. So when I decided to do it, I knew I want to go first into the stunt, because stunt muscle and stunts make sense, you know. Mm-hmm. And then I called one of the stunt companies in London and asked if I can join their classes. So for some time I lived part in London and part in Oslo. So I was living over there and come over here and doing all the stunt training with them. But when I did, I worked with so many people and trained with so many people. So when we were done, I had a big network in the film industry. And when I was in London, I went to the Actors Center, and then I was in a seminar with Ivana Chubbuck. Ivana Chubbuck is the biggest acting coach on the planet. She's based in Los Angeles.
Right.
So I told her what my goal was, and she said, I think you can do it because you have the mindset and the will to do it. And also, with no offense to anyone else, she said there's a lot of the big actors with muscle, their acting is okay, but not amazing. So if you can take your acting up to another level, you can beat them. But of course, there's other limits that I knew I had, like I have an accent. Well, there's people in the past in bodybuilding that done pretty well with an accent, but it was another time. So I decided, I told her, I'm coming to LA, I'm going to study with her. And she said, okay, just call me. And she worked with a lot of big stars. Brad Pitt, she helped Stallone for the last Rocky movie when he did. And she worked with Halle Berry. She'd done loads of Oscar winners.
Right.
So I went over to LA and did all this training with her. And then
Let me ask you a question, Dana. Let me stop you for a second. What does it cost to train with the best acting coach in the world? What does she charge?
Oh, not that much you think it is. Because you can do private sessions. And I think it's like, okay, it's like 500 an hour or something.
That's a lot of money.
But she also had master classes. So in the studio, you can go, there's like, in every class, there's like 20 people or something. And she has a lot of classes. So I went to the classes, and then it's not that insane. It still costs some money, but it's not insane. It's doable. Like
what? What is it? So, I'm just asking, because there might be other bodybuilders out there that want to get involved. What does like an acting class of 20 people cost you per session?
So I think it was around 350 or 300 or something.
Yeah, that adds up. How many classes do you have to take?
That's for 1 month. And then this is like bodybuilding. It's up to you how far you want to go. And some people can take it in a few months. Someone need a year. You know, it depends on your talent, your genetics, really.
Right. So you took classes for a month, and then did you feel comfortable that you could go and act after that?
No. Well, I learned how to do it, but back then I also I could speak English, but because it was my second language, it's another thing. One thing is communicate in one language. Another thing is to perform, to act, because it has to be so connected with your emotions on a totally different level than just communicating.
Right.
So I had issues with that, because it's like, you still need to translate in your mind.
Right.
And that's not acting, because acting is about being in the moment all the time. So I struggled a little bit in the beginning, but then again, I just, like my dad, he always told me, if you want to be the best, you need to train harder than everyone else.
Right.
So then, and I was just thinking, okay, I have this, I just have to do double of what they do. So I spend just rehearsing,
right,
doing my lines, and then after some time, you start connecting the brain, and suddenly you start thinking in English, and the more scene you do, the more you connect with your body, so it's just suddenly it's like, oh, it feels right,
Right.
So when I did that, I also saw how difficult, because if you're in LA, you know, if you go to Starbucks, if you go to anything, everyone working there is actors.
Right. Sure.
So, okay, how can I succeed with this? Because it's like I'm going to compete against all these beautiful people that speak perfect American, or British people that speak perfect British, and then I come with my Scandinavian accent. This is some years ago. Now Scandinavian get more and more normally in films because of Vikings and different things.
Right.
But then I was thinking, okay, I need to use my skills the best I can. And what skills do I have? I have good understanding of bodybuilding. I have good understanding of hard work over time. I can manage stuff, and I'm very good with people and bring people together. So I decided that, okay, I'm going to make my own films.
Right. That's smart. Now, what film, you've been in Hollywood films before. What was your first film that you did?
Oh, the first one was one with Tom Cruise. What
was the part that you played?
Oh, a soldier. Just a soldier. So it's like running, shooting, falling, you know, but it's be on a set. And that was something I did just before I went to LA. When I came back from LA, my friends in the stunt industry in UK was already established, those people I worked with in the past. So one of them, he called me and said, "Oh, Daniel, you want to come with us? It's 6 months. We're going to do the Hollow Crown with BBC." That's like Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, you should be in Game of Thrones. You have definitely fit in there.
So what we did for 6 months, we traveled around all of the UK, fighting, making big battle scenes on castles. And it was wintertime. It's not snowing in UK in wintertime, but it's really cold. And one of the scenes we shot in Scotland. So for several days, we were fighting on the battle scene. It was raining, it was windy, it was almost minus degrees, and you just have to continue because the film is not waiting for you. Right. If you cannot do it, they're just going to throw you off and let someone else in, you know, so you have no choice.
Right. What do you get paid for doing something like that? What do they pay you per day?
Around, I did that on something called special action. So this is a tricky thing. So if you do it as a stuntman, you get around 600-700 a day.
Oh, wow.
If you're special action, you're not union. If you're not union, you get half.
I got you. That's still good. That's still good wages, you know.
But it's really hard work. You wake up 4 a.m. You done when the sun sets, and then you get a start of sleep, and then it's back and you fight again.
And that went on for how many weeks? 6 weeks, you said?
6 months.
6 months. Wow.
But it's not 6 months in a row, you know, you right. Go on, off, and different things. So, but the thing with doing those things is all those people you meet, all the contacts you get, you know?
Right. Of course, that's about networking.
Working with so many people, and when we was doing that one, suddenly someone was like, "Oh, you know, Guy Ritchie, he's going to make a new film called King Arthur for Warner Brothers Studios." And suddenly we were booked in for doing that as well, you know. And suddenly we were working for Warner Brothers. That's a 200 million budget film, I think. And then I met more people that work in the studios. And then suddenly I was called in because they needed a big guy to do something in Justice League. And it's an interesting thing because they called me. I was sitting home doing my office work, and it's like, "Hi, are you available today?" I said, "Yeah." "Well, could you come to Warner Brothers Studios in 1 hour from now?" I was like, "What?" Someone just got sick, so they are not on set, and we start shooting. It's Justice League. I was like, "Wow." So that was a good experience because then I worked with Wonder Woman and with Jason Momoa and a few strongman guys.
Right.
And a couple of days, and yeah, and so from there on, I built this network, you know.
Dave, let me ask you this question. How do these stars, the big stars, treat, you know, the guys like yourself that are not really the, you know, you're kind of like, wouldn't call you extras, but you know, you're kind of like the background of the scene. Do they treat you well, like Jason Momoa?
Oh yeah, they did. So of course it depends on the personality. Some people is very good, some is less, you know. Like for example, Chris Pratt, Jurassic World, he's just amazing. He treats everyone like he's an amazing person, you know. And so it's different personalities. So, but it depends on what kind of jobs you do, you know. So, yeah.
So you decided you're going to make your own film, Retribution. Whose idea was it? Did you write the script? And I know right now you have a pilot out for it. You're trying to market it as a TV series. We showed the little teaser in the beginning of the show. Tell me about how that came about.
So, because all this, you know, I knew I had to make my own stuff to succeed. Because I want to go far, you know. It's like my mindset is always being number one, and if I don't believe that, I stop doing things. So I knew to get where I want, I need to do it this way. So I built my production house. When I was doing all these things, there was the thing paying my bills, so I can build my production house. And then I built a team of screenwriters that I work with. But on Retribution, I did it by myself because I was like, okay, I need to write something that could be interesting, something catchy, something people maybe like to watch. It doesn't have to be a Oscar winner, but it need to be something that people want to see. You know, it's like good action, good entertainment, good lines. So I came up with this Retribution thing. And I spoke to my friend Nick. He's a photographer, but he worked with all the biggest stars on the planet. He made some of the iconic picture of David Bowie, you know. So he was up here, you know, and I asked him, do you want to direct something? And he said, oh yeah, I would love to direct. And then you have suddenly a senior person in the film industry want to work with you. And then I brought in all my stunt friends to do different parts, you know, like one of the guys there, he's a UFC fighter, but he's still big, you know, and different people I got on board because I met him on film sets. So the whole thing with Retribution is it's good action. It's a little bit like Punisher. You've seen Punisher, you know, it's the same direction. It's about revenge, retribution, but it's more gritty. And every character is extreme in one or another way. Just 1 second, I just.
Let me ask you this question. What does it cost to produce a pilot of Retribution? Like your total cost that you've put, and how did you get the money to do it?
Oh, it was a little bit of my savings, and I got some, like Nick, he supported with some money, and loads of favors. Again, because in the industry, all these people that I know, I say, okay, you get some favors, equipment, get some favors, and then we made sure, because we want it to be a high quality, high level thing. It's not going to be a low budget thing at all.
Sure.
So then we managed to bring in really good people, and then we shot it over a summer, you know, and then I had a post-production. I got some people in Twickenham studio, and they worked on two of Ridley Scott's movies, and
really?
they did sound for me, for example, you know. So that's how I managed to get things done.
So what would you say is the total cost going into this?
Oh, I probably spend $5,000, but the budget is not.
That's great.
At least,
that's fantastic.
At least $50,000.
Oh, $50,000. I thought you said $5,000.
Yeah, but that's the cash, you know.
But I'm saying, so you only laid out $5,000 out of your pocket.
Yeah, and then you manage to do favors. You know, equipment is expensive.
Yeah, but that's great, because I'll tell you why. Because if someone picks up the pilot and decides they want to do a series, that's the best investment you ever put in. I mean, it's mostly just time and effort, and like you said, favors.
And I'm gonna tell you something. I cannot say it here, but we've been talking with studio executives, the biggest studios in LA. They've seen it, they like it, and I cannot say anything more. But maybe it happened, maybe it doesn't. But at least I'm gonna make it anyway. So it's more like, okay, it depends on what level or what budget level you want to do it.
Give me a line, Daniel, as the main character. Go into character right now and give me a line that the character would say.
I'm the peacekeeper. Retribution is my code.
Is there a lot of fight scenes?
Loads of them.
Yeah. Do you like to do the fight scenes?
And it's a little bit psychotic, and it's not politically correct. Yeah. But that's what is nice when you do something a little bit lower budget. You can play around with things, and you do what is cool, you know. So we had amazing time on set doing this. It was so fun.
Did you get hurt? Is it easy to get hurt on these fight scenes in these movies?
Oh, so one of the guys, there's a friend of mine. He played one of the characters, so I was going to kick him. He's a martial arts guy, so he said, okay, kick me in my stomach. He was lying down, and we used to do this as a stuntman, but sometimes things happen. So he's like, and then I kicked him, and it's like, after he's like, dude, you fucking kicked me! Oh, fuck. And then the director said, okay, we need to do one more take, and it's like, remember, it's not real.
you get your adrenaline going. You know, sometimes you get a little too into it. I know Sylvester Stallone said when he filmed Rocky movies, he was always getting hurt. Seriously, you know, those scenes.
So it's not unusual getting hurt, you know, but it's about be careful, you know. Right. And try not to. But it happens. It happens. There's a lot of things happen at the same time. If you have a fight scene is last at least 4 or 5 minutes, there's going to be some mistakes, you know, but you just have to continue. But that's the way it is.
Yeah. Well, look, I want to wish you the best of luck. Hopefully you sell the pilot and you make a few more episodes. You'll have to keep us updated. It's good to see a bodybuilder who actually can, you know, use some of their skills in bodybuilding to actually be creative, make a career in something that they're passionate about. And you seem to have found your way, so to speak. And if you make it big and you start scoring some big films, don't forget us. You know, you gotta throw us some trailers ahead of time so we can get a little put a little publicity out on you. Best of luck. Thank you for the interview and taking some time out of your day.
Thank you.
All right, and that's going to take us to the end of another episode of Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. I'm Dave Palumbo. We'll see you next time.